useful part of Tor is hidden service, because you've been able to do proxy chains forever, but you haven't really been able to have like a stable single point where you've been able to serve illegal data up until now, with redundancy and with built-in, whatever, What was I saying?
Talk about Tor.
Oh yeah. So to make a Tor hidden service, you generate a key. You generate a key pair, and your URL for Tor is your key fingerprint. So if you ever get your box seized, you can just move that key to another box and start up your Tor hidden service, and you're back serving again, which is quite awesome. I really love this. What else is going on via Tor hidden service? There are a number of forums now where you can buy and sell virtually anything. The assassination market that Timothy May, envisioned all those years ago is now on Tor hidden service. It's a great thing. You could buy and sell drugs, illegal weapons. I mean, at 0 day, you can buy credit card numbers in bulk, identities, and it's all been running for several months now and stable and in a single place. And I think as time goes on, this is going to be, a great thing for the free market, and we're just going to be able to do whatever we want. We don't have to hide out anymore and act like we're not black hats, because there's really no way we can get caught. The latest hip shit for botneting has been to make private onions. Tor has a directory server, and that's where the Tor's directory server is where all the list of nodes, like the entrance nodes and the exit nodes, are. The directory server serves this. So you can specify your own directory server and sort of set up your own Tor. And Tor is pretty much, I wouldn't trust the main Tor as far as I can throw it, because there's only less than 1,000 active entrance and exit nodes any time, and if you get an entrance and an exit node, you could apply the key of the exit node to the entrance node, and so if someone subverts the entrance node and the exit node, they can auto correlate and track who's posting what. But if you build your own Tor, then you can have an average size like botnet is 30,000. That's minimum what it takes to even hope to be profitable. So if you create your own private Tor, then you can trust that a lot more than the public one. So you make your own directory server, but you put it as a hidden service on the public Tor. So it's dynamic, it's redundant, it's got built-in redundancy. If the box gets seized, you hack some other box and install this hidden service directory server on it, and you can just keep this up indefinitely and really never shut down your botnet command and control. I hope all of you will in the future abuse zero-day vulnerabilities to build your own botnets. It's a great activity. Now next is user rustling. This is another thing that is probably illegal, but you can get away with it and nobody will prosecute. Is you can use cross-site scripting attacks or something. You can take one Web 2.0 service users and divert them to another service, and this service will pay you good money for stealing this other service's users, and you can pretty much approach anyone, get them some hookers, whatever, and they'll definitely do business with you. All these tech companies are super shadesters. They don't care. I mean, they just want to make money, and the dollar rules everything. So that's pretty much the goal here is I think internet crime has to be self-sustaining. We have to be able to fund it, but money is not the end goal. Like we're not the same as corporations here. I mean, really when you look at the government and what's going on, you have the choice of refusing to acknowledge it, just sort of brainwashing yourself and just accepting it, or you can fight it, and you typically go to prison. But I've chosen to become an absurdist and just break whatever I want, because that's really the best thing you can do.
You're fucking rambling.
I know. I'm tripping pretty hard. So China, I think, is a perfect example of the oppressive government model that the U.S. really wants to enact on their internet. I mean, we've got this network neutrality stuff, and eventually, all the telcos are going to be man in the middle in our SSL connections, and there's nothing that we can do about it, unless we build a separate set of backbones. So eventually, some ISPs are choosing to block BitTorrent or this service or this service. Eventually, the internet's going to be whittled down to where it's a distribution model only for data that's friendly to the corporate regimes at large. So we've really got to do as much as we can to get this done. Now China of course, has their great firewall, and they block, they block keywords. If you say something, about a past political event in Square or something, then they'll stop dropping your packets. And this is an obvious denial of service attack to anyone that lives in China or does business there. But the greatest thing, this effect, by the way, was first discovered by RSnake of that Hackers XSS blog, which if you like breaking web apps, I really recommend reading that. It's good stuff. It's ha.ckers.org. It's good stuff. I'd like to plug that. The interesting thing about this is the interesting thing about this is someone started recognizing that you could get routers to block the traffic of other routers by sending them packets with banned words in them. Now, you can also get routers to block their own traffic, which is pretty funny. So this, and this isn't really a smart thing because certain protocols stop working very well if routers can't communicate to each other. Very obviously is BGP, and so what you do is you send a couple packets to any of these Chinese routers, and let's say that router is now responsible for this AS number and announcing these IPs. So you hold down that router, and then you take over another router somewhere else, and you announce those. And as long as it's closer to the backbone than the router that you took out, then you will be announcing those IPs, and they'll route immediately. It's a common misconfiguration thanks to the Chinese government, which demands to control the backbones in China. So basically, there's verified entry, and then it'll just import it all. They'll let you announce pretty much any BGP. Of course, stuff like Qmail pretty much blocks all mail out from China by default now. They're getting hacked and owned so much that there's really you don't want to accept any mail from China or accept anything from China. I mean, how can you do business where anyone's IPs can just be taken over at whim? So this is a great attack, and I hope that some enterprising Chinese hacker turns all of China into a giant routing black hole. Yeah. I mean, this is really what they want to do in America. People like the news corporations and the broadband providers, this is where it's headed. So if we don't start saving our vulnerabilities now and actively practicing attacks on large-scale systems, then we're pretty much going to lose all the freedoms that the internet has given us, and that would suck a lot because I really like the internet. It's a great place. Code Red reference. Where are we now? I'd like to plug the GNA for a minute. Of course, for those not aware, the Gay Nigger Association of America is a group of internet trolls, and they relentlessly trolled a number of blogs and social networking websites, and they pretty much haven't stopped to this day. They pretty much keep on trolling. I think this is a really effective manner of attacking things because you can fix an individual vulnerability and you can patch it, but you can't patch of authentication features and anonymity. You can't patch, a scaling inadequacy. I think this is, of course, what the GNAA does is innocent and childish and whatever. Yeah. But think about free online tax returns. They don't have a CAPTCHA. Think about all the DMVs that are online these days. I mean, Al Qaeda could learn Perl and hold down so much. It could do way more than WTC. It would be really quite awesome. Yes, they did. They were sole responsible. Trade Center attacks. But of course, GNAA's crowning achievement was a trolling tool called Last Measure, and they would have a single URL on a DNS wildcard, and it would you'd send lots of people there, and it would say hey everybody, I'm looking at gay porno, and show them hideous pornographic images, and flood them with pop-ups, and try to open 1,000 copies of their mail client and stuff like that. but I think this has sort of a great model for exploiting web application and browser vulnerabilities. So another group, they made sort of a last measure for web application exploits, and what it does is it has a flash movie that constantly queries the server, and it launches a bunch of iframes, and there's cross-site scripting attacks in every iframe for every major social networking. And so they sit there, and the flash movie checks if all the cookies have been returned. So it sits there and it says loading, and the iframes have all been spawned, and they're resolving all these people's cookies one by one, and then it takes their user agent and attempts to do 0-day or even old exploits based on the browser's user agent string within that. And then when all the attacks have been tried, it'll finally show them some stupid flash movie or whatever after they had all their shit stolen and been botnetted. They'll finally be able to see some stupid shit from YouTube or something. All right, how much time do we have left? There we go. So you can if you really want to ravage social networking exploit sites, you can. Nobody ever considered that you could overflow floating points, but someone in the audience here showed me, at least suggested to me, that you could a while ago, and if you can't increment except on a couple architectures that were ahead of their time and realized the standard was stupid and screwed things up. But you can't increment floats past their thing. But if you directly overwrite bits within memory, so if you have an existing error that would allow a limited manipulation of memory, you can sit there and you can overflow a float, and then it's back to smashing the stack for fun and profit. So this is stuff, and there's all sorts of stuff that uses image compression math that you can ruin with this. It's on to Misha now.
Yo, so we're going to talk a little bit about the Stop Disclosing movement. So there's been some shit going down lately. I've been hearing people, they've been going up to security professionals, disclosing vulnerabilities, disclosing exploits, source code. This got to stop. This ain't cool. Any fools, you can't be disclosing vulnerabilities. Basically, that's how it's got to be. So, motherfuckers that be disclosing shit, oh shit, is gonna be fucking shot dead. There's no fucking way around it. See, this is an industry, a way of life. This is people's life. This is how they put bread on the table, and it brings joy to people's lives. And anybody trying to patch vulnerabilities is just they get in the way of that, and that's just not cool. And I think we should put a stop to it. But, disclosing shit, not cool. But talking shit, on the other hand, is definitely cool. Which leads me to the AIM and Solter project. For those of you who aren't familiar, there's this wonderful chat instant message program called AOL Instant Messenger. And there's a few people on it. Some of my friends use it. But most of the people on it are pretty much assholes and dumb. And they need to be insulted. They're also really ugly. So I built this AIM and Solter framework, right? And there's a few parts to it. First off, you gotta find all the users on AIM, and there's plenty of ways to do this, but you gotta enumerate all the users on AIM. You gotta find out all the screen names of the I don't even know how many million there are now, but there's a lot. There's a few.
Yeah, you can do that via those status icons, right?
Oh yeah, there's tons of ways to get it. Then you have an AIM on multiple hosts. You throw it through some proxies too. You generate a bunch of AIM accounts, and then you can start spamming all these screen names with it. And basically, once you get this up and running, it's just constantly insulting people. And all it does, it's really a very, very simple mechanism. I am somebody and says, "You're ugly," and that's it. It doesn't respond to anything. It doesn't do anything, but it's a beautiful thing. It really is. So let me walk you through the main points. You got to first gather all the screen names. Easy. You can scrape off of all social networking sites that people posted. There's the AIM Developer API, which just came out, which is pretty flexible, and some other shit that you can do. And then you can distribute it for more efficiency, less limiting, all that. You have all these multiple connections to AIM that are running all these hosts, and there's no way in hell that AIM can block all this. And then you have a centralized server which keeps a database of the queue of screen names to be insulted and keeps track of who's been insulted. stuff, and then you have a whole bunch of screen names. You have a whole bunch of screen names that you have that are instant messaging other people, so that's constantly rotating, so it can't block all those. Whoa, not good at PowerPoint. So then you also need a bunch of accounts, but that's easy. You can just generate them. There's a captcha on aim.com or something, but it's no big deal. And it even has a GUI like for happy interface and like managing things. You can see who's been insulted. You can even view conversation logs of like there are people like all it does is say you're ugly. It won't respond to anything they say or anything, but it'll just like say you're ugly, and people will just talk like for a long time about it. They'll just talk to it and be like, hey, they'll have like these long conversations and go on for hours. I don't really get it, but it's really, really funny to read. And it also just snatches whatever publicly available information you can get off of AIM about all the users too, whatever. And it's also very useful because it provides a framework for we have this framework. You can just instant message a URL to a whole bunch of people who will be stupid enough to click on it. And this will have this could theoretically have an exploit for popular browsers. Now, of course, Internet Explorer, everybody knows, that's not very secure or whatever. But it's recently come to light that Firefox is also fairly not secure, actually, as our research labs have discovered. But I mean, really, who uses Firefox? Like, I mean, who cares? Like, it doesn't really matter. So, like, but there's this cool new exploit. This is him, but.
Yeah, just like Wynn's daughter. We've personally experienced this.
Not me, that's him. I have no business with this. But anyway, but the interesting thing about Firefox is its JavaScript runs reentrantly. Now JavaScript's like, it's always theoretically had like a threaded framework or whatever, but it's never actually been implemented in any VM as actually multi-threaded environment. But Firefox, I guess accidentally they just made it multi-threaded somehow. And you can fire a timer in another timer, which will reentrantly stop execution in one thread, switch to another thread, and then you can call stuff recursively as well. And once you do that, if you try and call recursive functions in Firefox, it'll just be like, nah, sorry, and it'll kill your process. But if you do it this way, then it can't tell. Like if you do some cool tricks, you can reentrantly call functions in Firefox recursively, and then it just blows up and Stack overflows. And it's pretty funny. And yeah, stuff like you basically just you create an object, you create a prototype that calls itself. So it's like half recursive, but it's like object oriented and reentrant because you just set the time on it, and yeah, it blows up. And it works on Firefox, Mac OS X, Windows, and Linux. And it's a fun Stack Overflow for arbitrary code execution. Works on all the latest browsers. And it has fun results in other browsers too, like Safari just instantly just quits with a seg fault. And I tried on Internet Explorer, and I couldn't kill the process. Like Windows was just like, I don't know what the fuck. Oh, shit. But basically, the point is, like you go view a web page, codes run on your computer, botnet, all that stuff we were talking about botnets earlier. This is just one great way to put them together. Should you want to? I'm not advocating this, but well, yeah. And just like to throw out one other little project we got going on right now, which is I call it the Extreme Social Network Mapper. Just you build some embedded devices. They're really simple. Just acts as a this point. People connect to it. You spoof DNS, HTTP, and then you throw up fake login pages for Facebook, MySpace, whatever, and then you get all these people's login information. And what this does, this solves a very important problem that's been going on right now in our Web 2.0 world, which is that we have all these social networking sites. We have all these people, doing stuff. And we want to network. We want to graph their network. We want to find out how their social network works. But it's always a pain in the ass, dealing with APIs and data and stuff. So really, you can just use this and just get the data straight off the service without having to deal with people giving you information or exporting data or whatever. It's pretty efficient.
And if you want to build a botnet that has lots and lots of longevity, MySpace has so many stupid people that will never wipe the machine. Like seriously, you can botnet some social networking assholes, and it'll stay installed for like 3 years sometimes. I mean, it's so good. It's so very good.
So that's the majority of our talk right there, and we just got some shout-outs or whatever. But I think we have a special guest coming up. Actually, if you'd like to come up, sir, come talk with us. We have a respected security professional from Firefox who would like to come and discuss the state of Firefox security with us. How are you, sir? Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Here, you can take my mic here. Talk to
So you were describing a Stack Overflow bug. So those usually aren't security overflows. I mean security holes.
Trust me. Reverend Misha has the working exploit for that one. I mean, there's all sorts of other stuff in Firefox. I mean, some div style shit. Yeah. If you want more, like we could show you a couple more, but we've got around 30 or so good stuff in Firefox. I mean, it's just it's really so ruinable. JavaScript doesn't have any semaphores or mutexes. Like, why the fuck would you want to make it multi-threaded? I mean, it's just like obvious shit, you know? Like,
are a lot of the problems you found related to JavaScript reentrancy?
No. I mean, not many. We're not disclosing. Not disclosing.
That's right.
But what is what does Firefox do to like protect their users from this stuff? At least Microsoft has good security process. Like vulnerabilities in Firefox have taken months in recent history to fix. And like what do you guys do to protect people?
We try to fix bugs quickly. We try to find bugs before you do.
Is over 2 months an appropriate response time to you?
For a bug that's reported privately.
For a bug that's recorded privately, so no one people audit software. There's only like a handful of people. There's no black hats out there botnetting. And I don't know anyone that does that sort of thing. That would be very, very wrong.
2 months isn't too bad, but it's better if it's faster.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple took about 3 months when I reported a bug in Safari.
Yeah. Apple is a bunch of douchebags on security too. I mean, if they had any real number of users, I would be owning them like crazy. I mean, come on. Let's face it. Apple. No real market share.
Well, now, part of the problem with fixing bugs in Firefox, though, is I've looked at the JavaScript source code, and so has a bunch of other professionals, and everybody I've talked to just says it's a complete mess to patch it. Like, it's all over the place. It's like one file has most of the code just in one C file. Like, it's completely impossible to patch. How are you going to have a fast response time for these things?
Yeah, I've tried looking at that code. I can understand it, and I found by fuzzing. We're trying to fix them.
All right. That's good enough.
So I hope you guys do change your mind and decide to report the holes to us and take only $500 per vulnerability instead of using them for botnets and
we'll
making tens of thousands of dollars.
The thing about botnets is that really we're doing a public service to the internet because we're just people who shouldn't be on the internet anyways. Let's face it. I mean, come on. We need to get back to the point of like X25 where there was a great scene. The X25 scene was awesome. We need to get back to this. Yeah. Oh fuck you, dude. We need to get back to that point where the internet is an elitist place where only intelligent people that are capable of ruining shit can communicate, and fuck the proles. I mean, just screw them. But
whose computers are you going to build botnets on? Nobody's using the internet.
Well, if nobody's using the internet, yes, China. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, But what we're doing, I think it's a greater good for the internet than it is bad. Is that we're setting up communication networks for black hats to operate, and really, this is the only way that the corporate structure can be fought without a violent coup. What are you gonna do? I mean, I'd rather have some boxes owned and see shit just ruined all over the place than people with AK-47s in the street.
We are saving lives.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you guys at least think you have noble goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure. Give him a hand. Give this man a hand. Thank you. Hey, yeah, question, you in the shirt.
Oh shit! I've heard of you. All right, all right. It's too much of an inside joke there, Snakes. You're pushing it. I'd like to talk a minute about the Eleatic school. Who's familiar with the Eleatics, the Greeks? Anyone?
One person, awesome.
Oh, one person. Okay. Well, the Eleatic school was a school of philosophy, and basically the guy Parmenides who invented it, he thought that the whole world is one connected place. That there's no I, there's no individual. You know, we're all one system. And I can sympathize a lot with this because if you think about it, like computers can only do what code that they are capable of. I mean, a computer doesn't fuck up. You can't really be dishonest with a computer. I mean, you can say that we're doing a bad thing, but if you think about it, you know, if I overflow something and I take over something, really I've only done something that the code that was written on that computer has allowed me to do. I haven't been dishonest with that. So if you think about it, the state machine of the internet is one big connected blob. I mean, there's no, you know, I do believe in property rights, and the hardware that your computer has is definitely yours, but once you connect that computer to the internet, you're not like the software that's running on it isn't an individual piece, you know. It's like it's part of one system, you know, and anyone that has the capability to enter anything in that system has the right to do so. They should do it more often. It's not
I think that's it, unless there's any pertinent questions. Yeah, you in the back. No, we
Yes.
are perfectly fine. I don't know about that guy, but oh no.
Oh no! Oh yeah! No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Misha. Should I say? No. I don't want to get Misha fired from his job. So I will refrain.
You could come off the stage. You could do it alone.
No. We're not talking about Lol J. Yes, we're not talking about Lol J. What would you like to talk about, Misha?
I think we're done here, unless anything else.
How do you accidentally suck a dick?
I'm not sure. That one would be really hard to. It just would seem extremely difficult to accidentally suck a dick.
Yeah, and like furthermore, like one time might be an accident, but like the second time, is it still an accident the second time?
No, that's obviously.
All right, this convention has gone south. I believe our presentation is over.
Goodbye,
Thank you very
everyone.
much, and have a wonderful, wonderful TorCon. I love you all. You've been great. You've been great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, sir. Yes, sir. Uh-oh.
Because FF would be not a number.